Thanks for pressing like if you enjoy the video.
Alright. Swiftor says, assemble shoulder to shoulder, facing me, in front of the fountain.
Get to the middle. The middle's bad. I learned that the hard way.
Swiftor says, if you laugh at his apparel, he'll blow your brains out. Let's get out of the way.
Oh, you're dead.
Having breathing problems, Fitzgerald?
You're dead.
Having breathing problems? Alright. Swiftor says, make sure you're shoulder to shoulder facing me. You should be facing no one else. Swiftor says he's going to be repetitive and explain how the game works to everyone. When I say Swiftor says, followed by command, you do it. If you don't, you die. If I say a command without saying Swiftor says, you don't do it. If you do, you die.
Wait, what?
Swiftor asks you, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Alright. Swiftor says, look up to the sky. Swiftor says, look back down to him. Good. Alright, that's more for me to get an idea of the delay on what you guys hear. Alright. Let's start off by getting into crouch position.
Oh, what the hell?
Swiftor says, shoulder to shoulder, close up the gap. Alright, that's good.
Too far out, dude.
Swiftor says, turn your back to Swiftor. Swiftor says, Swiftor says, the last person to touch Swiftor dies. Go now.
What?
Swiftor says the last person to touch Swiftor dies. Find me and touch me.
Where's Swiftor? Up there. I dolphin died.
Alright. I know who it is. I'm sorry, dude. You're running away from me. Swiftor says kill the runner. After them. In our time. No, Swiftor says return. Swiftor says return. Swiftor says return. It's not worth doing. Alright, they're out of the game. Swiftor says get back into line. Swiftor says get shoulder to shoulder. Swiftor says don't ruin my game. It's enough that you're alive. Don't ruin the final game of the multiplayer marathon. There will be consequences. Alright. Alright, Swiftor says he wish he had a stronger gun. Swiftor also says crouch.
Daddy, watch out. Coming up behind you.
Alright. Alright. Alright, Swiftor says go into prone. Swiftor says move forward if necessary, move forward to go into prone. Shady Sands, you're having trouble hearing me, I can tell. This is not going to work out very well for you. Swiftor says stand up. Alright. This is not standing. It's not. Crouching is not standing. Swiftor says, Get shoulder to shoulder, closing up all gaps.
Many people are gonna be able to listen to this. You know what's really funny? There's two videos in there of a whole bunch of
Swiftor Says there will be no stories while Swiftor Says is being played. Swiftor Says continually turn in a clockwise direction until told to stop. Swiftor Says keep on going. Your dizziness is no concern to us in our entertainment. Alright, Swiftor Says stop. Swiftor Says fire a single bullet. Swiftor Says let us have a moment of peace for the dead. Swiftor Says get back in line, shoulder to shoulder, facing me. Swiftor Says make sure there are no gaps. Swiftor Says go into prone. If you need, Swiftor Says, if you have to move forward to go into prone, move forward. That is fine. Swiftor Says, figure out how to press up on your on your control stick. Alright. Alright, stand up. Alright, good. Swiftor Says you did a good job. Swiftor Says, crouch. Swiftor Says, follow me. Swiftor Says, line yourself up against the wall over here with your back to the wall, facing me. Swiftor Says make. Swiftor Says no. Swiftor Says make room for the last person, Nico. You can fit him in. You can. There you go. Good. Fit him in. Nico, get down there. Swiftor needs everyone's back to the wall for this to work. Swiftor wants you to observe the following line. Okay. Swiftor wants you to run to this line that begins over here. Let me finish. Let me finish. Swiftor Says, let me finish. Swiftor Says, you will run to this line. Sprint to this line. You will then jump and Superman as far as you can. The person who jumps the furthest, who Superman dives the furthest, will die.
Furthest? Okay.
Swiftor also says if you jump before the line, you will also die. Swiftor says you better follow the fucking rules. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Alright, Swiftor Says ready, set, go.
Go. He moved. Oh, I moved.
Oh no! He cheated.
I'm scared.
Shigoku.
Superman.
Shigoku, you walked and then you got down and prone. Do you feel good about that?
Good outrun it. Oh. Hey,
Swiftor wants to know why you're not in prone. Swiftor says that is an unacceptable solution. Alright, Swiftor says stand back up and meet me in front of the fountain. Shoulders together, facing me.
No, I will not be in the middle.
I'm well aware of that. Swiftor understands he broke his own rules, and he likes it. Alright. Swiftor says get shoulder to shoulder. Good. Swiftor says face me.
What?
Good.
What about us, team? They're so beautiful.
Take one step forward.
Wait, this one's the No!
Alright. Swiftor says look your partner in the eye.
Oh no. Okay.
I don't have a partner.
This is,
Oh my god.
Swiftor thinks that is sad because it was even numbers. Alright. Swiftor says face forward, get shoulder to shoulder, and look at me.
Okay.
Swiftor says we're going to play a little game. Swiftor says form a square.
I call this just square.
Form a smaller square.
Small square.
Good. Swiftor says when I say 1, unknown gamer will crouch. Swiftor says when I say 2, you will crouch. Swiftor says when Nico hears 3 from me, he will crouch. Swiftor says when Tom hears 4 from me, he will crouch. So to recap, unknown gamer you're 1, Master Crete you're 2, Nico you're 3, and Tom you're 4. Swiftor says when you hear me call your number, you will crouch. If you hear me call your number again, you'll stand up. 3,
Yeah, complete.
1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4.
Oh.
No, that's fine. I told him to do it. I said Swiftor says for that. Swiftor says stand up. Swiftor says only one of you will win the following match. Swiftor says, Nico, point your gun at Tom's head. Swiftor says, Nico, say hi to Tom. Nico, Swiftor says, say hi to Tom. Verbally say it. Do you not have a microphone? Alright, there's no microphone. Very well. Alright. Swiftor says, Crete, move in. Swiftor says, Tom, point your gun at Crete's head. Swiftor says, Crete, point your gun at Nico's head. Swiftor says he's going to take cover.
You guys should work together, go Swift.
You got next game.
Swift right away.
No. Swiftor says he promises not to kill you if you survive. Swiftor says only one of you will win this. Swiftor says you like pretty flowers. Swiftor also says to fire one bullet now. Very good. Nico wins. Swiftor also says he's a dirty liar.